Hey guys, I was asked recently about my paintbrushes, which ones I would recommend and what they do. If you go over to Miss Lady Petal Creations channel, she did a video not long ago on paintbrushes, and I think it was a Technique Friday video, which shapes will make which marks and what they're properly used for. I do recommend you watch her video, and I'm not going to repeat most of that because it really would just be repeating something somebody's already done. And she did a great video on it, so I do recommend that. Now, obviously, I have a lot of paintbrushes, but do you really need all these to get started in painting or mixed media? No. I do recommend a few brushes, and I will show you which ones those are in just a minute. And sorry, I got distracted. I think this one's still dirty. I'll show you which ones those are. I'm going to put these away. This is my stash of brushes. It's actually not all of them. I have some that are drying over that way on a cookie sheet. And I also have this little tin, which is full of, these are just my watercolor brushes. I do keep them separate from my brushes that I use for paint and mediums and varnish. I really want to, these are more expensive, and I want to preserve them and not get them all crusty and gross with hard other things. Acrylic paint is harder to clean out of brushes. Now, I do clean all of my brushes with Murphy's Oil Soap. I do have a video on that I posted recently, and I do recommend that for my brushes, my stencils, my palettes. It even will get the paint on your clothes, so I do recommend you try that. And like I said, I do have a lot of brushes. I do recommend a few, and I'm going to show you which ones those are. And I also have a couple of other mark making tools. So let me put these away and we'll be right back. Okay guys, so you don't have have to have lots of fancy brushes to get started. I recommend that you have a filbert brush, a round brush, and a flat brush to get started. Now, what size in each? It depends. So I recommend something like this one. This is a number 9 round. This is an Artist Loft brush. It says number 9 round. I think each brand is going to be a little differently, but this is kind of a smaller, it's not a super huge round brush. Let's see. That one I can't read, so that's not going to work. This is a Grumbacher brush, and this is a number 12 round. So this one says number 9 on it, so it might be a number 9. I think the 12 is too big when you get started. I would go with something that's smaller, more like this. Grumbacher, by the way, is a good brand of brush. And then I also recommend you get a smaller round brush. Something that's like one of these. This is, these are both liner brushes. And this one says 1C. This is a Plaid Donna Dewberry one-stroke brush, liner brush. And this is a Simply Simmons liner brush, and it says 2/0. These smaller ones are really great for doing eyelashes and grass and those kind of fine lines. It's really easier to do it with one of these than it is to do it with this. You can do it with this, but it's easier to do it with a small brush. So I recommend you just save yourself some headache and get a smaller one and the larger one. Now, a filbert brush. I love my filbert brushes. I use them a lot. I love the fact that when you're painting with them, you can get a nice flat, wide brush stroke of paint on your paper. At the same time, you don't get the straight line like you get with this regular flat brush. You don't get that mark on your painting or your paper. I like the fact that the tip is rounded. I can use it to my advantage when I'm painting pine trees or oceans or something like that. I like the number 6 or number 8 filbert. This one, I think this bigger one is an 8. Yeah. And I think these two are probably like a 6. This is a smaller filbert, which I really like when I'm doing faces and that sort of thing. This is a Simply Simmons, and I think this is a Master's Touch. I don't know what brand these are because I can't read it on, oh, Royal. None of these were the Master's Touch was expensive. These were not, and I love them. I've had them for quite a while. This is a Master's Touch flat, 1-inch flat. Really great brand of brush. Not super budget friendly, but Hobby Lobby, which sells Master's Touch, has coupons every week in their smartphone app. I recommend that you download the app and then just get one brush at a time if that's all you can afford. Michaels also has coupons in their smartphone app, as does Joann's. Now, if you want to add more brushes to your repertoire of things, then I recommend, if you're going to do any stenciling, either get some makeup sponges or one stencil brush. I like this larger stencil brush. It's more handy more often than the smaller ones. You want to, with this or any brushes, play with the bristles a little bit and make sure as you're doing this and flexing them back and forth, the bristles are not coming off in your hand. You really want a brush that has nice tight bristles. And that's also true after you've used the brush for a while. Some of these are very well loved, and when I'm cleaning them, flex the bristles back and forth, and anything that has bristles that are starting to get loose and fall out gets tossed. I don't want bristles in my artwork. Nice wide flat brushes are great for gesso and varnish or covering a large surface with paint quickly. I prefer these Chinese brushes. I think they're for Chinese or Japanese art. I'm really not sure. I got this one at Pacific Art Supply, and this is a 2.5-inch wide. It says HAKE brush. I have this one, and I have a bigger one. They come really big. Actually, they have one that's bigger than this. This is a 3 7/8, I think it says on the handle. I love these for covering a large canvas. I mostly use these for gesso. Occasionally I'll also use them for varnish. This one too also works, though I have this in a number of sizes, and this is just a regular 1-inch paintbrush. I either get these at Michael's, this one is Artist Loft brand, or I get them at Lowe's. So again, you just want to make sure that you're playing with the bristles a little bit and making sure nothing is falling out. A fan brush is really handy to have. This is a plaid Donna Dewberry 1-stroke brush. I do have a number of 1-stroke brushes. I love them. They work great. Fan brush is really great for doing, splattering with watered down paint on your page, or for painting in grass and a number of other things. So it's a handy brush to have to be able to play with in your collection. And then these are technically not brushes, they're paint pushers. There's lots of different brands of these, and the fine arts stores have them. Let's see if I can grab one of those for you guys. Like this, in a lot of different shapes. This is called a Color Shaper by Royal. And but these are by Lowell Cornell. They're called Style Sticks, and they come in sets of, I think, 4 or 6. I don't remember. And they have usually a set, like you'll get all the round ones and then all the ones that are this shaped in a set. And they weren't very expensive. I'm pretty sure I used a coupon. They're great for pushing the paint around, making dots with paint, putting lines in the paint. You can dip this in the paint and just make lines or dots or all different kinds of interesting marks in your paint. So these are great to have too. They're fun to play with. You don't need anything super fancy. I do recommend you go watch Miss Peta's video because she's got a great brush tutorial. I think it was one of her Technique Friday videos. And she really goes through each different kind of brush and shows you what you can do with it and what you're supposed to be able to do with it, and all kinds of different things with your brushes. I really recommend you go watch her video. But this is what I would start with. Obviously, if you've seen my collection, I have a lot more brushes than that, but I'm a brush hoarder, what can I say? But you don't need all those to get started. You really only need a filbert, a round, a small round, and then maybe if you were going to add one more, a flat. You could get started with these 3, but I would recommend these 4. All right? So don't forget to use a coupon, download those smartphone apps, and go out and have a great day. Do something nice for yourself because you deserve it, and I'll see you later.